What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show with the boys, Xavier and Nicholas. Guys, today we are going to be going over briefly every main event that is announced on the UFC website. Quick breakdown, quick prediction. Let's get into it. Next week, May 17th, we're heading to the Apex. Gilbert Burns and Morales. This is a 5-round welterweight bout. Morales is minus 850.
That's
Gilbert
just,
Burns plus 575. I like Michael Morales, but like these
that's
odds
ridiculous.
are absolutely insane. Let's hear it, guys.
That's ridiculous. I think that that's fucking so disrespectful to a legend of the game, Gilbert Burns. Um, Morales is coming off a fucking starching Neil Magny, which the corpse of Neil Magny though. We have
Yep.
to like give a caveat. On paper, that's a big win. That's an impressive win, right? But we all know if you've been watching fights recently of Neil Magny that like his best days are long behind him. Um, Morales is undefeated, so he's got that going for him. A lot of hype behind him. The fact that the fact that it's a 5 rounder does lend itself towards the experience of Gilbert. Um, but based on these odds, it seems like they're really not expecting it to go long. Which is kind of crazy because Gilbert's not that easily finished. So. Yeah, I'm still gonna probably lean the youth and freshness of Morales' momentum. I'll predict that he wins. He could even probably stop Gilbert like maybe round four, I would say. But like I just think that the line is really disrespectful though.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very weird fight to predict because I don't know what to expect from Morales since he fights like about once a year. Um, he just doesn't bite a lot, but undefeated. He's looked really good in the UFC, has a couple knockouts on the resume so far. He definitely looks the part. He's pretty big for the weight class, I believe, or I mean 6 foot with an 8 inch reach advantage in this fight. And that's why I gotta go Morales. I do think Burns can threaten with the takedowns, but I do believe Morales has looked pretty good in that area so far. And the big issue is Burns is just old, y'all. Burns has been one of my boys for a while, but
The
the
long
last fight, the
already
last fight versus Brady was very telling. It like the fact Brady pieced like if this is on the feet for a lot of this fight, I am worried for Burns in this fight. Like
Yeah.
the last fight was just so telling of how much he's kind of lost it a little. But I do think Burns has a path to victory in this fight. But I worry about his gas tank at his age now. I mean, it was fine last fight, but he kind of slowed down towards the end. I mean, Brady was just beating him the whole fight, but
that is Tom Brady though, to be fair.
yeah, to be fair, but Morales undefeated. Burns has just looked old. I feel like Burns just wins us through the wrestling and maybe gets a submission, but that's about it.
Only way.
And I just feel like a lot of this will be on the feet, and I think Morales just wins a kickboxing type fight.
Yeah, I mean Gilbert Burns, if you look at his last three losses, he is on a bad losing streak, but it's Deshaun Brady, JDM, and Bilal Muhammad.
And he
But
was whooping JDM's ass. Let's just put that out there for sure.
he was definitely winning the fight. But yeah, with Morales, I could see this kind of going like the JDM fight, honestly. Gilbert Burns gets multiple takedowns, but whenever it's on the feet, like Clark said extensively, I just think Burns is going to get caught, and it's just going to get worse and worse throughout the round. So I'm going to go with Michael Morales also.
Thanks.
All right, let's move on. We stay in the Apex. We got Blanchfield versus Barber, May 31st. Number four versus number five. I don't see the odds here, but we got a flyweight bout here. It's a pretty decent fight. I don't know about a main event, but what do you guys think about this one?
I mean, Aaron Blanchfield coming off that decent win over Rose Namajunas. She lost to Fro before that, but a 5 round went 5 rounds with her, which is like I guess like a pretty that's pretty impressive as well. She showed like 5 round cardio, and she went five with Rose too. So we know that like she has the gas tank for this kind of matchup. Barber has had some gas issues in the past, but she still just be, you know, getting these fights done. I'm a little worried about like the fact that this is a 5 rounder. Like I have seen some gas tank issues in 3 rounders with Macy Barber at times. So I'm not 100% sure how the gas tank is gonna hold up over five, but like I guess I'm gonna lean Blanchfield just because of her 5 round experience here. But yeah, I'm not really confident either way.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Aaron Blanchfield, pretty good jiu-jitsu artist, good wrestler as well. Definitely puts a pace on you at times, and she's very, I mean, how old is she? Like 20, 26. Oh, they're both 26. Wow, Barber's 26. That's
I
crazy.
feel like she's an old 26. Like she's just been in there a long time, but she
She's
probably
been there
started
for a
at like
minute.
21 or some shit, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, Blanchfield really has risen quick through the rankings. I feel like Barber has been more established here for a while. Uh, and I like watching Macy Barber fight. She does bring a certain violence that I like in a women's fight. Um, she's not a bad wrestler or grappler either. I don't know how she would do versus Blanchfield though, who I think is a very top wrestler. But Barber is big. So I don't think she'll be the easiest to take down. I agree with the gas out a little bit, but it's kind of the same thing for, Morales. Like Barber fights about once a year. I kind of don't know what to expect from her in this fight. But after the most recent fight, she's been just on a run. She's been, I mean, beating some pretty good comp, I think, in her way. And
Yeah, when she knocked out Amanda Rivas, I was like, okay, shit. She's got, it's all coming together for her for real.
yeah, like I think on the feet, Barber has the advantage in this fight. I think Blanchfield's gonna try to take this to the ground and win that way. Um, I don't know. This is kind of a fuck it pick. I think I'll go Macy on this one. Just a little.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
He is
Yeah,
the dog in this, by the way. Blanchfield is a minus 185 currently.
Okay, okay. That
I
makes
think
sense.
that's about fair.
That makes sense to me. Like she's a little
Yeah,
more proven against higher level comp.
yeah. I like Barber's win streak, and I like what I'm seeing in there. But Blanchfield definitely has better competition, especially her last two fights, taking on Rose and Furiat.
Yeah.
I'll lean Blanchfield also, but it is very close. But guys, let's move on to UFC 316 in Newark, New Jersey. We had a rematch here. We got Marab versus O'Malley 2. Marab did fight Umar in between this rematch. O'Malley has not fought since. I think he had some surgery. He had to get some injuries to take care of, but deserve it or not, he is back. We got a rematch here. Break it down.
I mean, we already know what the fuck. We know how this fight goes, man. This is I don't think that much has changed since their first fight. I did hear that Sean was coming in there with an injury. Which seemingly he's always coming in there with an injury, I guess, because he apparently was also injured against Aljamain too. It just kind of worked out in his favor. I kind of wish. I mean, I know these fighters are, they're always dealing with something nagging or whatever, but like, I just kind of would rather for a title shot, you come in there healthy if you can. Um, I guess as the challenger, it makes more sense if you pull out than if you were already the champion. It's kind of like it's a bad look. It looks like you're ducking your opponent and shit. So I get it, but I just kind of wish that these guys were being there healthy, I guess. Um, but it's neither here nor there, man. We're back again. It's the money fight. There's like a built-in little excuse, I guess, for O'Malley about their first fight. And I think that nothing really changes except for the fact that I mean, Marab is the champion now. I think that the people are putting a lot more respect on his name. O'Malley, a sizable dog, which is very understandable considering what Marab does to everybody in the division, including but not limited to Umar, apparently. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it just comes down to can Sean catch him? Every round starts on the feet, and even in round five of their fight, O'Malley did have Marab hurt and running. So if he can land some of those shots a little earlier, he can probably find the finish. Marab is not the most durable chin in the world, so and we know that O'Malley could put him out. It's just a matter of can he find that shot. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he is, but like honestly, my prediction, like I'll take him to win, but like that's more just the fan in me. Honestly, I think that Marab probably grinds him out over 5 rounds. Like that's the most likely result here.
Yeah, the fact that it ended the way it did the first time, and the fact it's only about a year later, or I don't know how long, but about a year. Mally hasn't fought since, so he's going up against the same guy with a different game plan this time. We'll see. I mean, I think more than anything for Sean, just more output. Last time it was just very uninspiring, not enough output. Kind of let Marab lead the dance and then take you down, and didn't have an answer until the fifth. But so I'm going with Marab. Yeah, I think O'Malley does do better, though. I think he definitely. I'm sure he watched that back, and Tim Welch. I think they're good coaches there, and I think when they watch that back, they're gonna realize we could have done a little more. They might not have won, but they could have done more. And so I expect a better version of Sean O'Malley, but it does come down to what X said. He's got to find that punch. And I do feel like right now, though, out of anyone in the whole division, Sean's the only one that can do that. I don't even think Umar has the power to put Marab out right now. So I think Sean's the only one that can catch him and get him out of there, but he's got to find it. But I believe in Mr. O'Malley. He,
Okay.
he's still like a top guy, one of my favorite fighters to watch. So I want him to be champ more than Marab. I don't like that team. Ray Longo is a yes man. Like I don't want them to succeed ever. So
Ever.
Erlango is a yes man for sure.
Um, I'm definitely gonna bet on O'Malley come the night because he's gonna be like plus 250. I totally get what you guys are saying. I'm just gonna. I really want O'Malley to win, and but I was just not inspired by that first fight at all. Like even the teep kicks that hurt him, like fine, but it was so late. Like he wasn't throwing at anything. I don't know if he was injured, whatever. Rob's definitely the safe pick, but vibes
But
for O'Malley for
but
sure.
but the vibes for O'Malley, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
mentally, my heart's telling me Sean, but my mind's telling me Marab.
and like there's not much more Rob can do than he did in the first fight. He's probably just gonna do that. There's so much room for improvement for O'Malley, but
Exactly. And
all right.
I do trust Tim Welch to come up with the game plan for real.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We're going to Atlanta, Georgia. I'm really excited.
Oh, wait, real quick. We should probably talk about this Juliana Pena, Kayla Harrison 2 co-main because this is another big fight, high key.
We can touch on it. Honestly, I'm very excited for this fight in terms of like even like women's MMA level standards. This fight is sick. Also, just because of the trash talk between the two, like these two girls actually talk trash. Their fights are very lackluster. Even last fight was pretty lackluster, but these two are beefing really
Bad.
hard.
She looked bad out there.
She looked bad. And Pena, I thought Pennington won, but like whatever. This fight's fun. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
I mean, I've been really clamoring for Kayla Harrison to come to the UFC for a long time, test herself. I was really impressed with her debut against Holly Holm,
Yep.
but then I was very much not impressed, and I was uninspired with
Ah,
her lackluster win over Caitlin Vieira in her last fight. It did kind of pump the brakes on the hype train a little bit. And it did give me like a lot of doubt that she could beat up Amanda Nunes, to be honest, which who seems to be angling for a comeback, um, for the super fight. She's gonna come in and snag this bag. But I mean, I just think that Juliana Pena is right now a fat undie, plus 425, and I think that that's kind of unjustified. As much as like we hate to we like to shit on Pena and shit,
Yeah,
but
that's insane.
especially considering how shit Harrison looked in her last fight, like I don't know how you could justify those odds. But that being said, I do take Kayla Harrison to win a unanimous decision here. A lot of grappling, a lot of Pena offer back, trying to maybe throw up some subs, but not really much doing. And I think that it's gonna be kind of it might not be the most exciting fight, but like you
Yeah.
said, the trash talk and storyline around it and the animosity that's probably gonna be built up through the build to the fight should kind of make it more feel more high stakes than what we're actually witnessing in the cage. So I'm pretty sure I'll be hyped no matter what's going on. I'll be like ground and pounder fucking Harrison, you know what I mean? But like it's not gonna be the most exciting, I would imagine. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna
Harrison for sure, obviously.
yeah.
UD.
Well, I'm gonna be happy because Juliana Pena's getting whooped in this fight, y'all. I mean, this girl barely went out there and beat Raquel Pennington. I have a lot of respect for Raquel, but how old was she going into that fight?
And didn't she get dropped in that fight by her?
It's crazy to me. And Kayla Harrison, she didn't look great, but Caitlin Vieira, she's a tough grinder girl. So it's just, sometimes it's hard to beat some of them the way you can beat others. She's big. So I just feel like Juliana Pena just has nothing for Kayla Harrison when it comes to wrestling. And I feel like this is where it's going to go no matter what, because I mean, both of them aren't great strikers, so I feel like they're just naturally going to be wrestling. It'd be interesting if they strike the whole fight. We'll see who
Oh
wins.
God.
That would be so bad.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? It would be great. It would look like
That would be like Damian Maya versus
Ben Askren.
uh,
Ben
Nick,
Askren, bro.
when Nick Diaz came back and fought Robbie Lawler. That was the most funniest shit I've ever
That was
seen.
hilarious.
It's like the slowest punches between both of them, and
After that fight, Robbie Lawler giving Nick Diaz a hug and be like, "Are you okay?" He was not locked in for real, but shout out to the fucking Diaz brothers, man. Legends of the sport, man. Not shit talking or nothing,
Yeah,
bro.
shout out to him.
no,
Um,
Don't slap me, bro, please.
I feel like if the same versions of each girl came in here, Penny would have a chance. But I think Harrison's gonna
My
recognize that her last performance was like that, and she's gonna
shit.
improve a lot.
No, she's like
worried
she's gotta
about
be like she has to be inspiring to bring Amanda Nunes back for that payday. But I don't even know if she might want that, bro. Because like high key, I don't know. I had a lot of faith that she could potentially win that matchup, and that last fight killed a lot of my own faith in her, to be honest.
I mean,
So
do we even want to see Nunes back? Like,
yeah.
obviously she's sick, but
Honestly,
like, I feel like she's done.
honestly, this division sucks. So yeah, I would like to see her back.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
would like to see the super fight. You know what I mean? It never got to happen outside the UFC. So fuck it. Like, let's run it here.
The only thing I'm worried about with Kayla Harrison is weight cut.
Yeah,
And
Every time.
literally it. Like I have no other worries about this fight. Juliana Pena literally should have lost that title fight. Embarrassing. And
Honestly, honestly, that's probably a big factor to why she's looked like shit. That weight cut probably killing her ass, to be honest.
that probably is it. But I have confidence she can beat Juliana Pena.
Of course. Facts.
um, let's move on though, guys. We're going to Atlanta. I am personally very excited for this fight. A whole lot of storylines going into this
Oh,
one.
bro,
Usman versus Buckley. The return of Kamara Usman hasn't fought since the Hamzat fight. Buckley coming off the win over Colby Covington. He's very hot right now, up there in the welterweight title picture. What do you guys think about this one?
what are the fucking odds on this thing, man? Do we
I,
can we get some odds on
let's
this?
see.
Uh,
They're not listed, but
Underdog.
I don't see him on the website.
I'm on ESPN. I see plus 190 for Usman currently.
I feel like that's decent.
Oh
That's
hell no! Oh hell no!
I
Oh,
just I
underdog Usman
think that's a
against
crazy
Buck.
it's
line, honestly.
Stop it! It's time for our fraud checking, boys.
I kind of get why the line is where it is because everyone's hyping Buckley up right now, but this man, okay, I'll start off. I got Usman winning this. Like, is well, one, it's too good of odds. Like, he's almost plus 200, and he's coming off a fight where he almost at least had a draw with Hamza Chimaev, who people are saying are about to beat DDP. I mean,
On like 4 days' notice or some shit.
yeah, and I get he's been off for a while, so that's maybe why the odds are also like this. But I just feel like if any good version of Kamara Usman, Kamaru Usman, I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah.
If any version of him versus Hamza Chimaev comes out tomorrow in this fight, he will beat Buckley. Buckley, this man came off of beating up an old Colby Covington who had nothing for him, like whatsoever. I mean, I will, and also like Buck Usman's not the easiest guy to finish. I mean, Leon had that Hail Mary kick. And outside of that, I mean, Usman really hasn't been finished in the UFC. So I don't see Buckley just going out there and kind of like starching him, really. I think Buckley might be winning the early rounds, but clearly the man has a gas tank problem. Like, he beat the crap out of Colby for 3 rounds and gassed, basically, before Colby even did. But Colby was just so cut up, they had to stop it. But Buckley was gassing in that fight from basically taking like about zero damage. So he has a gas out problem, and I think it's gonna hurt him in this fight. I think he's gonna realize Usman's tougher than he thought he was at this point in his career. And Usman's not a bad striker himself. I don't think Buckley is this most like elite technical striker. Like he's pretty good and he has good power, but he's kind of more of a brawler to me. He has decent kicks now. He's a lot faster at welterweight. That's why I think he's been better than when he was at middleweight. Obviously, was just too small as well. But I got Usman winning this, man. I think it is kind of a close fight when they do actually fight, but the gas out problems, man. I think they're gonna hurt him.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, first of all, I can't wait for this fraud checking, man. I've been calling for someone to fraud check this man Buckley for so long. Like you said, Buckley is more of a brawler than a technician in there. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that like Kamaru Usman was always the most technical of a striker, but by this point in his career, I would argue it's probably his biggest strength. Outside of like being able to fall back on the wrestling if like needed, I guess. But I think that this more recent shot knees Usman doesn't like, he's not as dedicated to the wrestling attack as he once was. I think that we can all agree that like a prime Usman runs over this man 100% every day of the week. Like he did so many others that are significantly better than Buckley. But um, you know, father time waits for no man. But I still think that Usman should have enough in the tank to beat Buckley, man. He is coming off that layoff, but at the same time, there is sometimes a benefit to that when you're out of the rat race. You can really fully just like let your body heal and come into camp um less depleted. When you get to being like one of these older fighters up in the rankings, like they're not in the rat race of like, oh, I have to keep fighting, like, you know what I mean? Like Usman's always like one or two fights away from a title shot. So it's like because of that, you don't have to keep fighting. You can be inactive. They're not gonna bump him down the rankings randomly. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do him dirty. So I think he was smart about this, took the time to heal up. I think he's still a proud guy, champion at heart. And I think he's just gonna come out there and really fraud check Buckley, bro. I just don't see Buckley having anything but early success. Rounds 3, 4, and 5, I can see like teeps to the body, that jab just stinging Buckley up. I can see him getting the takedowns if he like, late. once Buckley starts to gas, and I think he's just gonna show him levels for real.
Um, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Buckley. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's hilarious, like his personality, and he has a really entertaining fight style. But I'm gonna have to agree with you guys here and take Usman. In terms of the layoff, I'm not so worried about the amount of time he took off. I'm just worried if it's for like a messed up reason, like his legs. There's always rumors about his legs and his knees being all fucked up. I hope it's not because of that, because I could see that being an issue. But man, Buckley's wins. First of all, like his win over Wonder Boy, he was losing that whole fight. Basically, he was just getting outstruck until he found that knockout. And in the Colby fight, even in the round where he won because of the cut stoppage, he got taken down that round and like things were kind of swaying Colby's way, even though he was getting his ass beat. But I'm gonna rock with Usman here. Unanimous decision. All right, let's move on to the next one. This fight was originally scheduled for Kansas City, I believe. We got Hill versus Roundtree Jr. I'm very flip-floppy on this fight. Like I could see Roundtree kind of styling on Hill, but I could also see Hill finding a knockout. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't have always felt this way, but I think that based on recent events, I think that Jamal Hill has the early advantage with his power. But if he does not win the early rounds, like rounds one and maybe two, if Khalil Roundtree starts getting out ahead, I don't think that Jamal Hill has the like versatility to switch to a second game plan in there. Um, and I think that like with the Achilles injury, I could see with the Muay Thai of Roundtree, if he starts chipping away at the legs, man, I could see that really being a problem. If he was kind of wobbling, going in on wobbly legs. Um, I still think that like I don't want to believe that Jamal Hill was washed, but he did not look great in his last fight. Albeit, it's against Yuri, so it's Yuri is, a dog in that division. And if not for Pereira, like, he could really beat anybody out there for the most part. But um how lopsided that victory was for him, kind of put a little bit of a dampening on Jamal Hill's star. Whereas Khalil Roundtree, even though he's also coming off a loss, he's coming off a loss to like Pereira, in which he like knocked Pereira down and looked really good early in that fight. Um, and kind of like held his own until eventually, he got overwhelmed, but he still like his stock rose in that loss, whereas like Jamal Hill's stock and his loss went down based on how much he kind of looked outclassed out there. Um, my heart wants to go with Jamal Hill, but like my mind's telling me Khalil Roundtree might just have a little bit too much for him right now. Based on recent form, I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Khalil Roundtree to win a competitive decision.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher ones I think so far to pick because I it all kind of leans on where Jamal Hill's head is at. Um, I think he has a lot of advantages in this fight, just being the much bigger guy, the reach advantage. He typically throws more output out there, and I feel like Roundtree builds into fights. Except the Pereira one, he went a little just start and go right away versus Pereira, but usually builds into fights, good karate style, very good with the kicks. So I do lean Roundtree because of the kicks. In a 5 round fight, that's probably all going to be on the feet for the most part, I think. I think Roundtree with the kicks just has the very slight edge. I like Jamal Hill. I think he's a decent fighter. He has been losing to good comp recently, and this is, I would say, somewhat of a step down. But Roundtree is very good. I think he's the faster guy as well after what I saw versus Prohaska. I feel like that was Jamal Hill's worst performance I've seen him in.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I will, in all of his losses are by finish, which is tough. So I am a little, where's the chin at right now? It's not the worst chin, but you are getting knocked down in these fights. I do think he has the power edge in this fight for sure. I do think he can KO Roundtree, but I think Roundtree's movement, kickboxing style, he's going to be ahead on the kicks, probably chipping away at the legs. I think he kind of wins this fight. And yeah, I don't know where Jamal Hill. It's tough, man. I thought he would be something in this division. It kind of feels like he might have been a flash in the pan champion because, I mean, at that time, Prohaska gave up his belt for him to fight Glover. And we saw the result of that fight in just 3 rounds. So it's tough. I hope Jamal Hill can get back up there, but it just seems tough right now. He's fighting very good guys, and he's not doing well in those fights. So,
Yeah, he's at a point where he's gonna have to keep fighting killers based on his ranking. And by like he really needs like a fucking tune-up fight, but you can't get a tune-up fight when you're ranked that high. So
Yeah.
especially when you're the champ as well, like he was just the champ previously. So,
we can't give him fucking softballs now.
And
yeah.
I know this isn't how he won the fight. I mean, his title because he won it by decision, but it seems like in all these fights, the only way he can win is by KO. And I feel like that's the same thing with Roundtree. Like he's not going to outpoint him. I'm a really big Jamal Hill fan. This is gonna be the I'm gonna take him in this fight by knockout. I forgot, Xavier, you had a term for this, but I'm using this last card on Jamal Hill, my last little card on him, my fandom card.
Pin watch.
Yeah. And like once again, he's losing the crazy competition, but like that's just how it is right now. And yeah, Roundtree just looks so much better versus Pereira than Hill did, but I'm gonna take Hill by KO here. I think
He's
he
on,
can do it.
he's on washed watch and fucking chin watch, bro.
He can do it. All right. Let's move on to UFC 317.
Let's get it.
We got Ilya Taporia versus Charles Oliveira. First of all,
The champ has a name.
the champ does have a name. The odds are absolutely
It's Islam Makhachev. Fuck you mean? We know we know who's the real champ of that division, man.
the odds are absolutely terribly disrespectful for Oliveira. I think I saw like Taporia's minus like 300 or 400.
Mm.
I'll start with this one. First of all, this is a badass sick fight. I mean, this is I know we all wanted Ilya versus Islam, but we do get two sick fights from Ilya and Islam not fighting, so I'm not gonna complain. I do have Ilya Taporia by knockout. I think Oliveira will have his moments, but I just feel like on the Oliveira cannot win this fight moving backwards. I think he really has to use his wrestling. Fight him like you fought Mike Chandler. They're very similar in size. They're very different fighters, but similar size, shorter, stockier guys. But I just feel like when Oliveira's on the back foot, he's very hittable. And this is the main argument I have. Does Oliveira get hurt and come back and usually win his fights? Yes. Does he
Mm.
have that dog in him? Yes. But that dog only matters so much when you're getting hit with shots and combinations by Ilya Taporia. He just put down Max Holloway, who has the greatest chin of all time. I don't want to, there's no debating that. Or maybe John Jones, but he knocked down and TKO'd Max Holloway. I got Taporia by knockout here.
Well, Ed, you forgot he was a featherweight. This is a different weight class here. This is for the big boys now. So, look, I definitely understand the risks in this fight, and I understand why Taporia should be the favorite. But I'm picking Do Bronx Oliveira. I think he has a path to victory here. I think he can out wrestle Taporia in this fight. And I don't think Taporia has dealt with the level of wrestler and grappler that Oliveira is. Um, Especially, most, we're not going to forget the most finishes ever, the most submissions ever. It's all light work kind of stuff for us. Um, and that's his path to victory in this fight. I think if it is on the feet for a lot of it, Taporia could definitely catch him, especially late. But Oliveira to me can just still pop back up. I think he just has one of those comeback chins, and you can't just get rid of him so easily. I think Taporia likely would be someone who would go into guard there. If he knocks him down, I think he'll immediately try to finish him.
Hmm.
On the feet, though, I will say Taporia is, I think, the more technical striker of the two. But I do think Oliveira has a few more weapons in the bank with the knees, leg kicks, and that's a path to victory as well. I think if you take away Taporia's legs, he's a completely different fighter. I have yet to see him even get tested with leg kicks, really. So I would like Oliveira to do that because he has a very good leg kick. Um, Good high kick. Can really just do it all on the feet. So I think Taporia definitely he's the more technical guy and can definitely hit harder out of the two. But Oliveira got some knockouts as well. He could definitely hit hard too. And last time I checked, Jai Herbert dropped this man Ilya Taporia. His only lightweight fight, by the way, got dropped by Jai Herbert. Ed.
That's
Your
crazy.
guy Jai Herbert dropped Ilya. So
It
all
literally,
I'm
it
saying
literally
is
told Jai
it's
Hurt.
not out of question that Oliveira can't catch him with a left hook and drop him. Like I don't think it's out of the question whatsoever.
Fuck, I gotta be the tiebreaker,
Yeah,
man.
you
I
are the
hate to fucking
tiebreaker.
do it, man. I hate to
Put
do it.
the Taporia. I know what it
I
is.
hate to do it, man, but I have to fucking side with Ilya here.
Speak the truth.
Yeah, I have to call it how I see it. Reason being, I feel like there is, like you said, a version of Charles that can win this fight. And I think that there are a lot of aspects about Charles' game that present a matchup that Topuria hasn't seen to this point in his run. That one being like a dominant grappler. Um, Never forget that this man went 5 rounds with Josh Emmett, Topuria. Um, so sometimes like it's not like he's knocked out everybody type shit. He knocked out a washed Volk, not a washed Volk, but like a chinny Volk. I mean, the Max Holloway one is, really impressive. And coming off that win, that's kind of undeniable in terms of his power. But with that being said, there is a path where, like you said, I do think that Ilya would, if he knocks Charles down, would not be afraid to jump into that guard and try to chase that finish. And I think that that could be tricky, man. If you just end up in a extended grappling exchanges with Charles, I can kind of see that going wrong for him. I could see maybe Charles kind of reversing position and Ilya ending up in some unideal positions. I could see him getting a little overzealous and maybe jumping into a submission at some point while he thinks he has Oliveira hurt, but Oliveira always is hurt and coming back. So it's kind of familiar to him. Um, if he's smart, I think he'll be on that like get back up shit. I'm just gonna keep boxing you. Not to say that Oliver can't get up and still like land good shots. We've seen him do it before, but I think that that's like his best path where he just kind of keeps like, I'm not gonna play your game, just get up type shit. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pick Ilya just because I think that I slightly trust his jujitsu enough to like stay safe enough against Charles. I think that he could probably find a finish somewhere in the 5 rounds. But I would be very happy if like Charles. Okay, also I think that Charles also tends to fight with a reckless abandon because he believes in his ground game so much and his comeback chin and shit. And I think that that's one of his best attributes. But I think that if I see a more technical Charles here, where he's like he kind of is more weary of the danger and not willing to just wait into the fire completely all the time. I think that that might serve him better. Like you said, chip the legs away, try to grapple him. You be like a wily vet in there. You know what I mean? I need to see a different Oliveira approach, and I think he has a path. But what is it, 17-0? I can't pick against Ilya here, so I'm gonna take Ilya to win by maybe third round TKO. But my heart is with Charles here. I'm gonna be cheering for Charles here just because like
Love that.
what he will be such a legend if he fucking comes back and you know what I mean? Can we feel a brand new day now that Islam's out the division, bro? It would be dope if he derails his hype train. And then Ilya's gonna be like, fuck, why did I just leave my belt for? Fuck.
I got sub third round. Oh, second round, even earlier.
Type shit.
All right. Let's go to UFC 318 in where is this? Louisiana.
Oh God.
The retirement fight for Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Take it on Max Holloway. I guess it's for the BMF belt. I still don't think that belt makes any sense, but it's pretty much a pick 'em literally. Um, it's a really tough one. I'm pretty torn on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Man, I mean it's basically a pick 'em, like odds wise. I think they have Dustin Poirier as a slight favorite.
Slight.
Um, I mean, the fact that Max is coming off getting starched by Taporia is not helping his case. But to be fair, I think that that is partially a result of this weight cut getting a lot harder for Max as he's aged. Um, I think he's just naturally bigger now, and like I think that probably cutting down to 45 after being nice and healthy and feeling nice and healthy at 55 against Gaethje, I think that that cut back down. I mean, you have to do it for a title shot, but I don't think that like it kind of helped his chin at all. Did it any favors? I still think that at 55, Max should be able to take a better punch. I don't believe that his chin is gone by any means. Um, I've seen this fight before when Max was a little bit smaller and less developed, and he kind of got outpowered and kind of bullied around in there by Poirier. And there's a chance that we could see that again because I think Poirier just naturally is a much bigger man. But Max looked fantastic against Gaethje, and we've seen what Gaethje could do against Poirier. So anything's possible, man. I think that for the UFC's sake, it would be kind of bad if Poirier won this, even though it would be a nice feel good moment for him, and I'd be happy for him. But I think that for going forward in the UFC, Max getting this dub and finally avenging this loss feels like the better story. And that's the one I'm gonna roll with here. So I'm gonna take Max to win a competitive decision here. Um, maybe 2 rounds to three type shit.
I said, oh God, another Poirier fight. Oh God. Oh God. I mean, we'll see what Poirier does. He's usually losing these fights and pulls it out of his ass last second. So he's a regular JDM, just pulls
Uh,
it out of his ass. But sorry about that. I just had to throw it out.
I'm fine.
But uh honestly, when was the last time they fought the second fight? Like 2015?
It was Izzy and Gaslam card.
Oh, like
I'll
2018?
say 2019 or something.
hold on. Yeah, 2019, April 13th, 2019. So basically almost like
Six. Yeah, 6 years.
6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot has changed since then. I do think both fighters are better now than they were then. But Matt, the one big difference to me is fighting at lightweight. Max is definitely coming in with a more ready body for this weight class. And we saw what he did to Gaethje. Poirier's retirement fight, so he's definitely gonna fight his ass off. I think the boxing's pretty even, but I just feel like Max at his youth right now beating everybody that he's beat as of late, outside of Ilya and Volkanovski. He's beating everybody else. I just feel like a loss to Gaethje, the way Poirier took it, was definitely telling to me who's gonna win this fight. I'm honestly, I guess it's in Louisiana, so that's maybe why Poirier is the favorite here. I'm honestly surprised Max is the dog here.
I think it's also just the fact that Max is coming off the KO loss.
Maybe,
His
but
stock is down a bit for sure.
I'm slightly leaning Holloway. I think him going up to 55 will definitely help the chin and all that. You won't have to cut as much weight. He's a huge 45er. And yeah, I don't know, something about retirement fights. It's kind of hard to pick the guy who's retiring.
always tough.
I think like
What else to
Poirier,
do? This is
yeah,
just an ad for his hot sauce for real. One
yeah,
last promo for the hot sauce.
yeah, and like Max was looking really good in the Ilya fight until he got caught. And on yeah, I like Poirier's style against Max. Like he can weather Max's storm and land the bigger shots. But in this one, I gotta go with Max.
And to be fair, like Poirier looked great in his last fight against Makhachev, to be honest, too.
Yeah.
You
So
look good.
he looked real good. So I mean, it's not like this is some washed Dustin Poirier or anything, but yeah, I'm going with Max by UD.
But fuck, I could totally see Poirier getting like the good vibes retirement dub, but I'm gonna go with the head here.
Hey man, you might get what you want, and they might just retire the BMF title, bro. At that point.
I might have to. Let's move on to we got two middleweight fights to talk about before we wrap things up, guys. We got De Ridder versus Whitaker in Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, Abu Dhabi. Everyone's picking De Ridder. Everyone's on the De Ridder hype train. Everything I watch, but like Whitaker, not very inspiring last performance. Got his jaw broken, but De Ridder's not Hamzat. This is a different fight. What are you guys looking at?
All right, let me start because I know I'm gonna have the unpopular opinion here, but I thought that the Ritter looked like shit against Gerald Meerschaert when he debuted. Even though it was enough in the striking department to beat Gerald Meerschaert, I just was not very impressed with how slow he looked on the feet. Um, he did not look as technical as I thought he would. And while he looked a lot better in his recent fights, I mean, one, he just kind of subbed up Kevin Holland in round one, which like anyone could sub up Kevin Holland who doesn't give a fuck about the sport anymore in round one. So I mean that while impressive on paper is kind of like there's an asterisk because you subbed up Kevin Holland who clearly does not care for real. He's in there for paychecks largely. Love you, Trailblazer, bro. No disrespect. I respect it, bro. I get your mentality, but you know what I mean? I'm just calling it how I see it. Um, whereas Whitaker. I've been impressed with him recently. I mean, he was coming off that knockout win over Alex Garoff. Starched him, beat his chest, beat the fuck out of his chest. Most damage he took all night. His fucking chest off the victory beats. But before that, he kind of styled on Costa a good amount. So I mean, I don't think that getting ragdolled by Chimaev says that much about you, especially considering like I mean, the man got his jaw fucked up by Hamza, you know what I mean? Like I would have tapped at that too. I'm not really gonna blame him for that. Even though in the moment it looked like a little bit of a lack of grit because it was like he didn't have the choke in, it was just like a crank over the teeth, but when you saw that he pushed his whole jaw back into his mouth, like yeah, I would have quit too. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Like come on, man. These guys are human beings. So I'm gonna take Robert Whitaker, man. I just don't think that he's shown me that he's washed enough. And while the Ritter is impressive, and I know he's fought bigger people before, I know that's gonna be the argument Clark's gonna use. But at the end of the day, it's Robert Whitaker, man. Bobby Knuckles. I think he's just too crispy on the feet. Um, and especially coming off a fight where he just bullied Bo Nickel. Like this ain't no Bo Nickel, man. This is a former champion. We're gonna show levels in this bitch.
Okay. Shit.
Mm. I honestly don't know who I'm gonna take, but what I will say, I've been watching this man RDR since one. I've seen those fights he's lost to the like heavyweight champ where he got knocked out both times at heavyweight. One of them might have been at light heavyweight and he came down, but it was the same guy who had good punching power. But outside of that, I mean, the thing for me about RDR is wrestling and grappling is very good from what I've seen so far in his entire career. And that's why I was very overconfident, as we all should have been, of why he was going to beat Bo Nickel. This isn't NCAA wrestling out here. This is MMA.
Hmm.
This is a big step up in comp, though. I will say it's a very big step up. I do feel like Whitaker sometimes struggles with guys that are like honestly bigger than him and can kind of wrestle him the way RDR has been doing to people. And he out wrestled in some Mearshart too, which it wasn't the most impressive looking fight on the feet, but he did end up subbing him, which isn't easy to do. It's a tough one for me. You know, on the feet, I think Whitaker definitely had. I don't think the Ritter's bad on the feet, but definitely a step behind. Yeah, it's just I mean, it kind of depends how good the Ritter's wrestling and jiu-jitsu really is. Because if it's like somewhat, that very top tier level, like a level below Hamzat, I think we could see the same story here. And RDR has a lot of submissions on his resume, so you can definitely find it. So this is a very tough one to call. Eh, I'm gonna slightly lean RDR. I think he'll be the dog. I think I just feel like he's fought bigger guys, and that gives me confidence he'll go out there and kind of just like out wrestle Whitaker. On the feet, that could be big problems, so I'm kind of already regretting my pick, but yeah, I don't know. It's actually a really tough one, I think, because either Whitaker's winning this fight on the feet, or I think the Ritter subs him up on the ground. I think that's just where it's going.
Yeah, this is a really hard one to call. I'm gonna lean to Ritter also. This is a
Ooh,
huge
heck no.
This is a huge step up in competition, but I don't think that's as big as of a deal of as it usually would be because of RDR's experience in one being a double champ. I just feel like he's one of those guys who can take that type of talent jump. And yeah, you guys hit it on the head, Clark. The size difference. I feel like Whitaker is it's kind of easy to not easy, but he gets bullied around a little in there. And I'm looking back at his resume ever since he lost the belt, the fights that he's losing are against like the top tier guys. He's beating the Alascarovs, the Costas, the Cannoneers, but he's losing to like Izzy, DDP, Hamzat. And I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think he's legit, man. I think he's gonna beat Robert Whitaker like 4-1, 3-2 decision. And I think on the feet he can hurt Whitaker. I've not been a fan of Whitaker's chin at all recently, especially after this Hamzat fight. Like that jaw injury could not help things. And yeah, I think DeRitter's gonna kind of size mog him, and I think the momentum, it's just kind of written that he wins this fight. Shout out Bobby Knuckles, man.
You boys will eat crow. Trust,
I
trust.
mean, I almost changed my mind. It's it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It's good. It's a sick fight.
It is dope. It is dope.
All right, guys. Last fight of the card. We're going to Chicago, Illinois, boys, and we're gonna be there live, hopefully. DDP versus Hamzat in August. This is crazy. I can't believe this is like happening here. It's kind of a random location, but it's still epic. Hamzat, I
Only
think
fight announced for the fucking
yeah,
card. Only
just the
fight.
main event.
That's all
So
I need, though.
yeah, banger main event. I'm pretty sure Hamzat's a minus 200 favorite most places. Oh, this is another really close fight. This is the fight everyone wants to see. This is a top three fight, like in terms of hype of the year, in my opinion. What do you guys think, man? DDP versus Hamzat, 14-0.
Let me start this shit off, man. Your boy going down,
Ooh.
Mark. It's about time,
Shit.
man. Shout out my South African brethren, though. DDP, man.
Come on,
He
man.
had a worthy reign, you know what I'm saying? He proved me wrong, a lot of doubters wrong. Like time and time again. I kept picking against this man. Looks like shit in there. He fights like a baby giraffe walks clumsily, but at the end of the day, he gets it done, man. He stumbles into a takedown. He fucking stumbles into a knockout sometimes. Like he seems like he's clumsy as hell in there, but I just don't think that that works against a fucking assassin merchant like Hamzat Chimaev, man. I think that Hamzat he's taking a lot of time off. I think that hopefully he's learned to pace himself and kind of not blow his load immediately. Shoot the takedown, of course, get him down, get the position, but instead of just like trying to maul him, absolutely, I would like to see him take his time. It's not like DDP has the best gas tank in the world. He has kind of comeback gas tank, and I think that in those moments when they're both gassed as fuck, I just trust the technical superiority of Hamzat's skills. I think that while DDP can like, bully his way into a tired takedown against like a Sean Strickland, who's kind of like undersized for that weight division. Hamzat is a big fucker too. And I think that he's a scary motherfucker. And I don't really see him getting just like out grappled in this fight, even though like DDP has shown a lot of improvements in his cardio, and I want to give him credit for that. If Hamzat blows his load, I can see him struggling a lot down the stretch in this fight. Um, but I do see him being able to at least bank some early rounds, having some early success, and I think that that could sap out more of the gas tank of a DDP than getting jabbed by Strickland. This ain't no Strickland pressure coming in there. And I think that, to be honest, that's probably going to work against him in this fight. Just the fact that he's been fighting Strickland so much recently and shit. And Izzy, who, while Izzy was like, doing really well in that fight and kind of, he does fight at a more technical, slower pace that kind of allows DDP to not feel that much danger off what's coming at him. Um, Whereas I think that balls to the wall, even if Hamza goes in there and then like it's just a scrap, it gets chaotic real early. I think that that serves to sap both gas tanks a little bit. And I think that the fact that the gas tank issue kind of cancels itself out, I have to go with the aggression and just violent nature of Hamzat. Submission skills, I could see maybe third round sub or 5 round close decision with Hamzat jumping out to an early lead, but being able to survive a tired but building DDP in like rounds 4 and 5.
Oh, oh man,
Here we go.
you still haven't learned your lesson. I mean, look, man,
I never.
DDP is undefeated in the UFC. And so is Shemaev, but DDP has yet to lose at middleweight. Shemaev almost lost to two welterweights.
Stop that.
Seems like a gas sound merchant immediately after the first round. If he can't get a finish and is forced to fight a tough fight, he does enough to win, but he kind of wilters. And I feel like DDP is not one of these guys that is ever going to wilter. It comes down to the first round for me. I do believe Chimaev will get DDP to the ground. I think he is big. I think Chimaev has all the skills to get DDP to the ground, even though I do think DDP is a very good wrestler and grappler himself. And it comes down to that. Like, and I just feel like DDP is good enough off of his back to stay safe. I know Chimaev's a different beast down there, but I think he can stay safe. And, once we get out of that first round, especially both of them tiring as the fight goes along, that just worries me with Shemaev. Like, if he's huffing and puffing, even if DDP's huffing and puffing, we saw that in the Izzy fight. and he knocked Izzy down and ended up subbing him. So I wouldn't be shocked in the late rounds, even if Chimaev gets an early lead on the scorecards. I could see DDP coming back and finishing him. Like DDP is a very good finisher. Like that's the one thing I think he has over Chimaev. Even though Chimaev is coming off a nice sub of Robert Whitaker, he goes to decision a decent amount, in some of his fights. And, it just hasn't looked like the best cardio. Like, first two rounds, I think he'll be okay. At least the first, obviously. But I don't know, man. Like, when it comes down to the cardio for me because I just don't believe Jemima is running through this Greek god of Dricus Duplessis. Like, I just don't see him running through that man. So maybe he can find the sub in the second or third, but the longer this fight goes, I think DDP just knocks him out late in the fight. Because I think DDP's power carries even when he's gassed. So I got my man winning.
Yeah, I'm really confused on this fight. I've been saying DDP, but
Yeah,
I don't
do
know.
do it, Ed.
It's tough because
Turn on him.
the
Do
thing
it.
is, like, if Hamzat's gas tank is improved, which, like, maybe it is, like, maybe it could be, or
What
I'm
the?
sorry, Hamzat's, if Hamzat's,
Yeah, exactly. What the
it,
fuck?
like, if he wins, I could see him, like, winning and gritting out, like, a fourth or fifth round if his cardio is improved. Because I don't know, is his cardio as bad as everyone thinks it is? That's what it comes down to.
The thing is this, like, no, right? Like, my thing is this,
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's not as
like,
bad.
I think that I mean, obviously, like, he's not for any five rounders, right? But at the end of the day,
Well,
he fought a five rounder, but like, it didn't go five. You know what I mean? It was over immediately. But like, I think that at the end of the day, even though he was starting to gas out, he was still like even in the Usman fight when he gassed out, like he was still there throwing in round three. It wasn't like we've seen him so gassed out that he stopped fighting in there and stopped like looking like himself kind of. It's like, okay, obviously he's not the world beater that he was in round one. He was greatly diminished, but like diminished from what? Absolute terror and boogeyman and like the guy who threw like four fights in the UFC that took like no strikes. You know what I mean? So it's like even when he's gassed, he just kind of gets a little more human, and I think that that's still enough to beat DDP, man.
okay, I feel that my thing is he's never gone to 4-5.
That being said, I'm gonna stick with DDP for now. I have 4 months to think about this fight, subject to change. It's
Hmm,
very close, but yeah, I'm gonna rock with DDP here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Fair enough.
anyways,
Fair enough.
guys, thanks for listening. Let us know who you are picking for these UFC main events in the comments. Please check out the TikTok and our future upcoming videos, and see you in the next one.
We'll catch you. Peace.
Yeah.